Welcome to the Nordic Venture Show, your speed date with the coolest ventures, brightest founders, and exciting things happening in the Nordics. In this episode, our venture date is with Casion from Indonesia, one of the pitch competition winners at the Maria 01 Now 2025 event.
Welcome to the deep dive, the show that really cuts through the noise to bring you the essential insights you need. Today, we're diving deep into a question that's, well, it's on many minds as electric vehicles gain traction. Where will I charge it?
Right. Or maybe, is it going to be a constant hassle?
Exactly. It's a common concern, isn't it? And it can slow down that exciting transition to EVs for a lot of people. So our mission today is to unpack a wealth of information about a really comprehensive electric vehicle charging network, one that's genuinely changing the game, especially in a major Southeast Asian market. We're going to cover, well, pretty much everything. How this network works day to day, what kind of data gets collected, the payment options, which are quite interesting, and the grand vision for accelerating electric mobility.
Yeah, the big picture.
Exactly. We'll look at the practicalities, the tech behind it, and, the promises being made for a seamless EV experience for you, the driver. So let's unpack this vision. We've got some really fascinating insights into this system. A system designed to make switching to electric, well, truly seamless, worry-free. What's the core promise here, especially for drivers in a place like Jakarta?
Well, what's really fascinating, I think, is the sheer audacity of the vision. They're talking about expanding to 10,000 charging stations by 2025.
10,000, wow.
Yeah, and then an even more ambitious goal, over 5,000 locations regionally by the end of 2028. Starting right there in Jakarta. The core promise, it's distilled into this motto, anytime, everywhere. And look, that's not just marketing fluff. It feels like a real commitment to fundamentally get rid of range anxiety.
Anytime, everywhere. That is bold. But okay, for someone actually driving an EV today, how does that translate? Like, what's the actual experience? How easy is it when you pull up to one of these stations?
The whole process is designed to be incredibly simple, like really plug and play. You literally just drive up, find a station, grab the nozzle, plug it in, and then stug out. Well, then you just let your vehicle CAS. That's their term for charging up.
CAS. Okay.
Yeah, while you go do other things. And the mobile app, that's your kind of central hub for everything. It helps you find the nearest stations. You can even preset charging times if you want.
Oh, very interesting.
Monitor the charging status live and naturally handle payments. Think of it like having a charging concierge right in your pocket, guiding you.
A charging concierge. I like that. Sounds genuinely convenient. But what about, say, someone thinking about getting an EV? Or maybe they imported one. It wasn't bought locally. Compatibility issues. Is that a risk with this network?
No, actually, and that's a huge relief. Plug compatibility is intentionally not an issue.
Good.
The chargers are designed for all EVs. They provide a universal Type 2 connector.
Right, the standard one.
Exactly, the standard plug you find on most EVs.
Right.
So broad compatibility is baked in. No worries about where your car came from.
Yeah.
Just plug and charge. Now, that does bring up the technical side. What kind of power are we talking about? These are mostly level 2 chargers, pretty common for public AC charging.
Right, not the super fast DC ones necessarily.
Not usually, no. These will typically juice up a car in a few hours. Enough time for, say, a meeting or grabbing a meal.
Makes sense.
But it is worth noting, while the stations themselves offer 22 kilowatt capacity, a lot of the four-wheeled EVs currently in Indonesia only accept 11 kilowatt.
Ah, okay. So the car limits it sometime.
Exactly. Though a few high-end models, think Porsche Taycan, BMW i7, they can take the full 22 kilowatt directly. And even popular models like the Wuling Air EV, they'll pull about 6.6 kilowatt from these stations.
Okay, so the user experience sounds really thought through, but delivering on anytime, everywhere, that needs serious infrastructure behind it, right? Especially with those huge expansion plans. What's happening behind the scenes to keep it all smooth and reliable?
Right. The commitment is to end-to-end service, and that really underpins the reliability factor.
End-to-end meaning?
Meaning they handle everything. From actually installing the needed cable infrastructure, which is a huge task in itself, to managing the daily operations, the maintenance, all the repairs for every station. They have dedicated teams, apparently, who regularly service the stations, keep them in top condition, aiming for maximum uptime.
So proactive maintenance.
Exactly. And on those rare times the station is down, their team jumps on it to get it back online quickly. It's this whole comprehensive approach that's meant to prevent that hassle we talked about.
And safety, always a big one with, high power electricity in vehicles. What measures are in place there?
Safety is definitely paramount. They state they comply with really stringent regulations, global standards too, regular inspections, maintenance. It's all part of ensuring a safe charge every time.
Okay.
And for an extra layer of security, there's an emergency stop button or panel at each station. Now, this isn't for you or me to just press.
Right, not for the public.
No, it's accessible by the building management or their own staff to cut power instantly if there's any kind of emergency. It's about building that trust, showing it's a robust, safe system.
So it's not just about getting the power flowing, but making sure the whole process, start to finish, is solid, secure, reliable. That builds trust, like you said.
Okay, we've covered reliability, convenience, but for a lot of users, the practical side boils down to how do you pay? And are there any sort of clever incentives or plans?
Yeah, payment flexibility is absolutely key. They offer various methods. Right now, you can use major e-money systems, virtual accounts, QR payments, all very common digitally in the region.
Okay.
Credit and debit cards are apparently coming soon, too. But where it gets really innovative, I think, are the payment tools they've built. It goes beyond just pay-as-you-go. First up, you have something called CAS points.
CAS points, like loyalty points.
Sort of, yeah. Think of them as a unique currency within their system. You mainly get them as a refund if you stop charging earlier than planned.
Ah, okay, so you don't pay for time you didn't use. Exactly. It's calculated precisely, down to the minute, basically, so you're not shortchanged. You can also get points from promotions sometimes. They're worth 1 rupiah per point, and crucially, they never expire.
Never expire. That's good.
Yeah, it makes them a reliable, long-term payment option within their ecosystem.
Yeah.
But you can't cash them out or give them to someone else, so it encourages you to keep using the network.
However. Okay, what else?
Then there's CashPass. This is their subscription service.
Ah, like a monthly plan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Monthly and weekly plans designed for more affordable fixed-cost charging. For example, there's CashPass Lite, 199,000 rupiah for up to 95 kilowatts over 30 days. Or CashPass Max, 499,000 for up to 250 kilowatts over 30 days. Weekly options too.
So potentially big savings if you charge a lot.
Potentially huge, up to 70% savings they claim. Plus, you get flat rates, no surprise fees, and flexible options.
Nice.
They even have this clever 2x24-hour grace period when you activate a subscription. Any pay-per-use charges you make in those first 48 hours, they get refunded to you as CS points.
Oh, that's smart. Smooths the transition onto the plan.
Yeah, it's a neat way to get people onto the subscription and really tackle that cost anxiety.
Okay, it sounds like they've thought really deeply about convenience and keeping users engaged with those payment options. Now, the data question. In our digital world, any service like this collects data. What are users actually sharing? And maybe more importantly, how's that data handled?
Right. That's always a critical question for users, isn't it? What are you sharing? Well, when you sign up, you provide the usual personal info, name, phone, email, address, also vehicle details, make, model, year, plate number.
Standard account stuff?
Pretty standard, yes. And if you make purchases, obviously payment data is collected. Then there's the automatic data. When you use the app or their website, they gather usage info, things like your IP address, device type, browser, operating system, language preferences, location data too, if you enable it. And importantly, usage information, what pages you view, searches you make, how often you charge, where you charge.
So quite a bit of data.
It creates what you might call a data goldmine. Every interaction, every charge, it all feeds into this pool of data.
A data goldmine. What do they do with all that? How is it used?
Well, they state it's used for legitimate business interests. Things like managing your account, sending updates, protecting the service, like fraud prevention, enforcing their terms, responding to legal requests, delivering the actual charging service, offering support.
The operational necessities?
Right. But also, they analyze the data, identifying usage trends, evaluating how well promotions are doing, improving the services overall. This data goldmine allows them to understand user behavior, optimize charging times, predict demand.
Ah, so it helps them plan where to put new chargers, maybe.
Exactly. It allows them to be proactive, optimize the network, figure out where new stations are most needed, maybe even offer more personalized services down the line. It's a strategic asset, not just operational data.
That makes sense. So using the data to improve the service, what about sharing it? Is this data shared with third parties?
Information may be shared, but under specific conditions. It could be with your explicit consent, first off. Or to comply with laws, provide the services like maybe sharing some data with the payment processor.
Okay.
Also, to protect their rights or fulfill business obligations. This might include situations like a business transfer or sharing with affiliates or business partners for joint offerings. And one important note, if you share personal info yourself in public areas of the app or site, like posting a comment.
Right, like a forum or review section.
Exactly. That info could be seen by anyone and might become publicly available. Just something to be aware of.
Standard online interaction caution. Yeah. And how long do they keep this data? Now, how secure is it?
The state personal data is kept for a minimum of 10 years, or as long as your account is active, often dictated by local regulations. They use technical and organizational security measures to protect it, and they have procedures to notify users in case of a data breach.
Okay, that's reassuring.
Oh.
What about user rights over their data? What control do individuals have, especially under local laws like in Indonesia?
You actually have significant privacy rights, particularly under the Indonesian Personal Data Protection Law. You maintain quite a bit of control.
Such as?
You can review the data collected about you. You can request corrections if something's wrong. You can even ask for your data to be erased under certain circumstances.
Okay.
You can also opt out of marketing emails easily. And, crucially, you have rights like withdrawing consent for processing, restricting, or objecting to how your data is used, and even data portability, the right to get your data in a usable format. It gives you real power over your digital footprint within their service.
It's clear there's a strong focus on user experience, rapid growth, and handling data properly. Let's broaden the view again. What about the wider impact? Sustainability, the greener future. How does this network contribute beyond just enabling EV use?
Right, connecting it back to the bigger picture. Their commitment to a greener tomorrow seems pretty evident. And it's not just about providing plugs. They actively talk about educating users on reducing their carbon footprint by switching to EVs, making that benefit clear.
Okay, education is part of it.
Yeah, and they provide some concrete numbers. For instance, just up until May 2024, they distributed over 152.9 milliwatt each of clean electric power.
152.9 milliwatters. How much is that really?
To put that in perspective, based on average emissions, that's equivalent to taking over 25,900 gasoline cars off the road for a whole year.
Wow, okay. That's substantial.
It really is. It's a massive, quantifiable contribution to environmental friendliness. It clearly highlights their role in helping decarbonize transport in the region.
That's a very impressive impact number. Now, shifting gears slightly, growth targets this ambitious 10,000 stations regional expansion that needs a really strong foundation. What about the team driving this? What kind of expertise is behind this?
Well, the management is described as diverse, very experienced, people with backgrounds in property development, which is key for locations.
Right, finding the spots.
It's exactly. Regulatory affairs, retail, technology. The CEO and co-founder, for example, has a track record in managing profitable property operations. Another co-founder has deep experience in retail, consumer tech. Operations apparently led a startup that hit top growth rankings in Asia multiple times.
So, proven scaling experience.
Seems like it. And they're backed by notable angel investors, too. People with strong connections in tech, auto, infrastructure, logistics, even an independent commissioner who serves as a special staff to the president of Indonesia.
Ah, high-level connections, too.
Yeah, this whole mix, operational scaling, know-how, strategic insight, industry connections, it seems crucial for navigating the complexities of the Southeast Asian market and hitting those big expansion goals.
So, putting it all together, the tech, the strategic funding, the experienced team, the clear market need, what does this all point towards for the future of electric mobility, particularly in a dynamic region like Southeast Asia?
The strategic focus seems to be what they call land grab, which isn't just about growing, but specifically securing prime locations for destination charging.
Destination charging, like malls, offices.
Exactly. Places people are already going. The goal is over 750 nozzles installed by late 2025, and that big target, over 5,000 locations regionally by the end of 2028. Their rapid plug-and-play model software and hardware, it's already proven effective in Jakarta, and it seems built specifically for scalability. Ready to adapt across different Southeast Asian markets, each with its own challenges.
And the timing feels right.
The timing is absolutely crucial. You've got rising environmental awareness, governments offering more incentives for EVs. By moving early and aggressively, this network looks really well positioned to grab a significant competitive advantage, to genuinely shape the electric future of the region.
So we've taken a really comprehensive deep dive today. We looked into an ecosystem designed to make EV charging, well, incredibly accessible, reliable, and user-friendly. From the 24/7 availability and the smart app features to those innovative payment systems like CAS points and CastPass. It's clear a huge amount of thought has gone into killing range anxiety and building a truly complete network.
Indeed. And when you add in the massive expansion plans, the significant environmental impact through clean energy distribution, and what seems like a robust, transparent approach to user data and privacy rights, yeah, it paints a really compelling picture. A future where owning an EV isn't just, an option, but becomes the seamless, easy norm.
So as we continue down this road of electrifying our transport, here's something to think about. Beyond the immediate convenience of charging, beyond the clever payment plans we discussed, how might this immense wealth of data collected from these ever-expanding charging networks truly reshape our cities? How might it change urban planning, energy consumption, maybe even how we live and move in the years to come?
Thanks for tuning in. You can follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Music, or your favorite app, and connect with us on LinkedIn for more stories and insights.